But I did want to introduce the two great karma exercises. I mean, as Robin, I think, said yesterday, and I probably said it too, it was Steiner's mission on the earth, he said, was to bring the real, true understanding of karma and reincarnation. And he brought these exercises, and I don't know that we've done them enough or frequently enough. And the big karma exercise, of course, is the evening review, which you took us through last night. But there's one, it's number 2 on your sheet. And what I was going to do was invite you in this next 3 or 4 minutes for us to do it together on the understanding that every meditative practice is a completely free deed. So if you don't want to do it, then just picture people in your life from the past that you have some gratefulness to. He also says, and I'm going to really make this a big practice in all the work I bring, that the feeling of gratefulness is what brings us across the threshold into the spiritual world. So you have a choice here. Please feel free. But we're going to have, 3 or 4 moments of silence. What it is you take, unlike the evening review when we only do the day before, we take an event in our past that we would love to know, to know the karmic counterpart of it, maybe in a previous life. It's usually an encounter with somebody. It's usually something that has left us with a sense of something unfinished or painful. And what you do 3 nights in a row, and I woke this morning thinking we've still got 3 more days together. And it's sometimes easier if all of us are doing it quite private, a totally private thing, but tomorrow we could check how are you feeling with it, was it easy, and sort of support each other on that goal, because I think it's a very profound practice, and we don't do it in order to, well, if I do it, then I'll know how awful somebody was and is, and you do it because you really long to resolve it and move forward a little with it. So you take this moment in your life that you would love to know more about it, even if the relationship is long, just one specific moment, maybe you got fired or something, and you picture that maybe I will invite you to do this now and sort of guide you a little in this, and you just recreate the moment visually as strongly as you can. You were there, this other person is there. In what surroundings are you? Can you see those? Can you see everything down to the bowl of flowers on the desk or whatever it is? You get this picture as absolutely vividly present in your soul as you can, including what was said and how you felt. So I'll just give us all a few moments to capture. It can be a positive experience too, of course. And then when you feel you've recreated it as vividly as you can, just let it dissolve. That's all you do. Just let it dissolve. And when you've opened your eyes, we'll know it's mission accomplished for today. That is all you do, and you do it 3 days in a row. And the explanation behind it is every event and experience, as we were picturing people yesterday, that enters us, takes 3 days to go down through our sheaths and also out into the Akasha. And all we're doing now, we're taking our ego to connect with the event consciously. And just let it go. Just maybe notice if anything changes. Don't go fishing. Don't think about it. And between now and when we meet again, and then we'll do it again tomorrow, and then again on the 3rd night, and we can share, any experiences we have, also physically. But what Steiner says, if we do these practices, the evening review, obviously, but if you did this frequently, you would not get the hardening illnesses of later life, because we would keep the hardening, sclerotic illnesses of later life, because this would help us keep in the stream of our destiny. which is really really what we're doing is seeing what is actually there and meeting it rather than what we fantasize about it. So it's a very simple practice. And the other one, which I won't invite you to do now, I think one is enough for this little class, but the other one is number 6, where you take events in the past that at the time you wished hadn't happened. And you go back and you recreate this event. Maybe you break a leg, or your spouse leaves you, or whatever it is, and you just picture that, you get that right up against that moment, your vision, and then you imagine a part of you, the real deep, is from, we call it the will, the real will being, had willed this event into being, had willed your husband to say, I'm leaving you, had willed this. And if you do this frequently, and he says, you don't do it once, you do it 70, 140 times, you begin to see how your true being, out of many incarnations, has laid that event into your destiny in order for us to develop something or grow, that we want to sort this. And many events are not karmically laid in, but you begin to see the difference between them. And the example he gives is if a brick fell on your head as you're walking past a building. You imagine a being leaps out, loosens the brick, and drops it. And you usually have to start with things that don't affect you so profoundly, because it's really hard to imagine I willed, my sister to go off with my best boyfriend. It's really hard, so start with simpler things. Well, she did, and it took me years before I could really imagine that I had sought that as a karmic, wake-up call.
She deserved him.
Well, actually, it's an interesting little story because, he was manic and, and spent 9 years of every month. We met again 30 years later, but he had to spend 9 months of every year in a mental hospital. And I remember somebody, and it really sort of woke me up, I think it was Kuhn, in fact, who said, look what she saved you from. Because one of the reasons I didn't go ahead with the marriage was because he'd, gone off with my sister. And so in a way, she did save me from, what would have been an extraordinarily painful marriage. But, start with something minor. It really is. But I think Steiner wanted us to do this. I really, really do. Because it also, you may... We'll talk more about it tomorrow because it's time to break now.